Alright guys, I've got my bike here and I've been riding this quite a lot actually since August 15th. I titled it to myself and it's now October 17th and we're at 3,000 miles. So this is like a 3,000 mile update. 3,000 miles in roughly 2 months. So I have been riding this much more than the average guy who has a Brozz or any Chinese bike for the most part. But I'm riding mostly on pavement. So as you can see, my tires are getting chewed up a little bit. And it looks like I'm expecting around, I might get to 5,000 on the tires. So that's what you can expect for tire life on pavement. It's all highway riding. I still have factory carb jetting, factory exhaust. I don't know if you can hear in the video. I have not adjusted my valves in 3,000 miles. And if you wait that long, it becomes very noticeable. I think I started hearing the valve around 1,500 or so. But I'm gonna do it here in a week or so. But let's see if you can hear it. So the valves definitely need adjusted. Exhaust is holding good. Brakes are working good. I think I might be... Sometimes I have hit the brakes pretty hard in the front since I go down the highway. Rotor looks okay. I don't know how long my pads are gonna last. I think the front ones are gonna be wore out. I'll have to look at that, but at some point the front one's gotta go because, like I said, they get hit pretty hard sometimes going down the highways. So I run this bike at down 316 and 85 here in Atlanta, in Georgia, almost every single day. I get up to 7,000 RPM. Sometimes downhill it goes a little bit higher, 7,200, 7,300. Factory sprockets still, 17 front, 46 rear. And this is a 2020, so it's got the 19 front, 17 rear wheel size. As you can see, most of my riding has been highway, so the body is actually still in excellent condition. The only things that have been wearing out really are the tires, brakes. This broke in the first 50 miles. It broke almost right away, and I think the general internet already knows about that. Make sure to keep your plug wire up away from your exhaust and you'll have no problems there. This thing needs greasing. This is the one where I rest my helmet on every time I get off the bike and I go in a store. This thing sometimes doesn't like to go up and down, like it gets kind of difficult. I definitely need some WD-40 or some grease. Whenever you're assembling your bike for the first time, put some good decent grease on here so that you can continue to be nice. Look at that, it's so tight that it shakes the whole bike when I try to do that. I do have an aftermarket battery. I do have an aftermarket foot shifter. From day one, I had Honda sprocket bolts and a nicer 5,000 PSI chain on here. I have not adjusted the chain one time in 3,000 miles, and I'll show you how bad that makes an aftermarket chain go. So if this is the aftermarket, you know the stock one's even worse. Okay, so that's how much play. I mean, I've seen worse, but that needs to be tightened up a little bit for sure, as it even wiggles the top. So that's a little bit loose. Starts every time. I've ran it out of gas 2 times because right here my gas gauge is working. However, around the 1,000 mile mark, the gas gauge decided to do its own thing. So it shows a value when I start the bike. Maybe 5 to 10 minutes into riding, it goes down to empty and stays there till I shut it off. So if you remember, this part's under warranty for 3 months after date of purchase. So if that starts happening to you, pull off your connections, use some dielectric grease, put them back together, make sure everything's plugged in right. Remember, you got to plug under the tank too for the sensor. Do the same. And then it's only one of 2 things, right? If everything's plugged in, it's either the gauge itself or the float underneath. So it's within the 3 months. You might as well claim warranty on this. Not a big deal because you've got a reserve right here. So when I ran out, I flipped it over and drove to a gas station. And that's happened to me twice now. And otherwise I just fill it up every 2 days. So, and since my commute, the bike, I'm just using the bike for commuting. I think this grass is like the 3rd time it's been off the pavement in 3,000 miles. So it's been all on road. When these tires wear out, I'm gonna get on some, probably some Kendas, maybe some 761s from Kenda, or something similar to that. Some very, almost more street orientated, but like a 60/40 or a 50/50 type tire for my next one. Just because like I said, I hardly ever leave the pavement. But stay tuned for a couple of videos. We're gonna do some head work. We're gonna get the valves adjusted, and I'm gonna try to film everything as we do it, as we build this bike. Some of it's gonna be maintenance stuff. Some of it's gonna be a little bit extra power. Nothing too crazy since I drive it every day, so it needs to run. I can't have it down for months. But yeah, it's a little bike, but it's comfy. I ride my average trip is about 40 miles, so I'm sitting on it for 40 miles at a time, and 3,000 miles later, you see the marks, a couple marks in the seat covers, but I mean, overall the seat's still in good condition. I got caught in the rain maybe 3 times, and if there's water in here, these bolts will start to rust. As same with those and the ones on here. So certain bolts will start to rust when you get caught in the rain. I've been caught in one downpour, and I've ridden 2 other days where I'm riding right after the rain, so the ground is just wet, but it's not coming down. I just took it a little bit slower on the knobbies when it was pouring, but I didn't lose confidence or have any slide outs, or brakes never slipped on me tires never slipped on me when I was braking. I just took it a little bit slower. So these definitely aren't the best tires for daily riding, or daily riding on pavement anyway, but they work and you can do it, which is what I made this video for, to show a little bit. So that's that, man. I really haven't had, so gas gauge, a foot peg. Oh, this other side, this other side's like rusted, stuck. Definitely, this other side had like the thing. I'm not sure if it was like that when I assembled it, or if it fell out when we were riding. But yeah. Keep your valves adjusted, change your oil. I changed oil at 600, I changed oil at 1500, changed oil at 25. I was using a 1550 full synthetic, and it's keeping the engine just happy, so I'm gonna stick with it. But otherwise, man, I mean, it's a bike, it works. We'll definitely keep going.